Hello everyone, it is I, the butler, of Hotel Room 103. And you know what I was thinking? Right after I just finished recording the World Goth Day video, this channel is all about the horror genre, right? So what better story to tell besides, how I got into the gothic subculture, which is what this channel is kind of founded upon. And I'll also tell you guys how I got into the one genre that this channel became all about. Horror. Now, I don't have the most amazing nor extravagant story like every other horror YouTuber does, and I don't think mine's very impressive, but it's still good to tell. Okay. Now, despite the fact I said that, let's go all the way back to 2001, to when I was 5 years old. The very first horror product I've ever seen has to be either one of two movies, because I can't remember. It was either The Haunting or Candyman, but for the life of me, I can't remember which one it was. I know I've seen them at a very, very early point in my life, but I just can't remember which one I saw first. And to be honest, despite the fact they're made to scare you, I wasn't scared of them while I was watching them as a kid. I was more intrigued by them. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm some big, strong, brave kid who wasn't scared of nothing. In fact, if anything, I was scared of things I shouldn't have been, like the wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald in the episode Birthday World, or that one jump scare Courage Cowardly Dog. You know the one. And yes, there are some horror movies that scared me, and I'll go over that later. But for some reason when I was a kid, a lot of things that were supposed to scare me didn't. They just caught my interest for some reason. And other things that weren't supposed to scare me, scared the shit out of me. Like the Toonami trailer for Fullmetal Alchemist, the original. I don't know why, it scared the shit out of me. Just see one kid reach out for his brother as the brother gets fucking vaporized. Yeah, ain't gonna fucking scare a kid.
Alphonse and Edward thought there was nothing left they could lose. They were wrong. Full Metal Alchemist premieres November 6th at midnight.
But throughout my entire life, it was a weird imbalance. Oh, don't get me wrong, there were some things that were meant to scare me and did, and there were some things that weren't supposed to scare me and didn't scare me, thankfully. And I wasn't one of those kids who was afraid of clowns, but I also was afraid of heights. I was a very strange and unusual child, let's just say that. Now let's skip many years from now, all the way up to 2010, when I was 14 years old. Once again, yeah, gross picture up again. And I saw the movie known as Haunting in Connecticut. Now, in my opinion, the movie isn't terrible, but it isn't really amazing either. In my opinion, at least. If you like it or you hate it, it's up to you and your opinion, but it's my opinion. But when I first saw it, I was petrified. In fact, at that point in time where you saw the black crabs go on his leg, in that one scene he's hallucinating them, I can't remember if it's actually from that movie. I remember I got out of the movie theater. I fast walked out of the movie theater. But my sister says I ran. Though, to prove my masculineness, I'd like to say I fast walked. I was 14. How masculine was I supposed to be? It does not matter, for I am here! A 14-year-old boy that fast walked out of Haunting, Connecticut. Didn't run! Now skip over to 2011. This is when I first got into the gothic subculture, as I mentioned in my World Goth Day video. But strangely enough, I rewatched the movie with a couple of friends at that point in time, including my sister. And I didn't get scared at all. I didn't get flinched. It was weird. Like I said in the World Goth Day video, during the summer of 2011, something just snapped inside of me. It just made me change as a whole person. And this situation makes me think I changed to the complete opposite of what I was before. From this to whatever this is. It was at that point when I was starting to get interested in horror. Well, sort of. I was more into the, I guess what the internet would call edgy stuff. Writing fan fiction, self-inserted stories, and, skinny jeans. And don't get me wrong, I freaking loved Shadow the Hedgehog, too. But it wasn't until, let's say, 2012. And that year, at the very end of 2012, I moved almost 3,000 miles away from Pennsylvania over to Washington State. I was very alone, I didn't know that many people, and I lived in this place called Adna, in this mountainy forest area, So I was not only like alone as in I didn't know anyone here, but I couldn't really just walk out of the house without a license and just go meet people. I was in the middle of bumfuck Egypt. Essentially. It was there I was on the computer a lot, and I mean a lot. And from there, I discovered one creature that started it all. That's right, the Slender Man. The Slender Man started all of this. And from there, I saw Creepypasta. From there, I saw Mr. Creepypasta and the other Creepypasta readers. From there, I saw freeware horror indie games. It was like a whole new world I never discovered. Horror I could experience anytime I want. Now you're probably wondering, why not horror movies or horror games like, I don't know, Dead Space or Bioshock or any of the new horror movies at the time? Well, for one, I didn't have a license, so I couldn't really go anywhere, and two, money has always been an issue in my entire life. So, the only thing I could really go for was free internet horror, which explains the freeware indie horror games, creepypastas, and everything else. And despite all the trash that people throw at creepypasta, there are some great stories out there. Sure, there are a lot of poopy ones, but a lot of great ones, too. You just need to actually look for them. In fact, you don't even have to look that much. Just look at the most recent videos from people like Mr. Creepypasta, Creeps McPasta, Creepypasta Jr., and so on. And there's also this huge horror YouTube community, which I didn't even discover until 3 years later in 2015. The next 3 years before 2015, however, were still just that. And at one point I was getting bored. In late 2015, however, I saw the horror YouTube community, and I saw so many different content creators: Rainbot Horror, Jordan Underneath, Huda Hoodlum's Revenge, A Gloomy House, Scare Theater, and so many others, and it just blew my mind how much there was. And I think it was that point in time I decided to make my channel dedicated to horror. And I think it was just thanks to the horror YouTube community. It made me realize that I can make a channel out of this, because originally I didn't think I could. And, you know, a lot of people thought I was a psychopath, and making a channel about horror probably wouldn't help. And I've been doing horror videos for the past 2 years now. Sometimes I do other things, of course, because if I stick to horror, I feel like I get bored of it, you know. I know it's my favorite genre, but if you do something too much, it starts to get a little old, so that's why I kind of do other things, like what I'm doing now. And I guess that's how I got into the horror genre, but why? Well, it was easy to figure this out. I just looked at the World Goth Day footage, and lo and behold, I easily found out that it was pretty much the same reason. I like the dark, melancholy side of things. It's just interesting to me. And also the yin and the yang, sort of. Let me explain. Imagine New York City. You know, the town that's usually bustling with people, lights everywhere. And it's just this amazing place you'd want to go to. But as like a dystopian wasteland, there's no people, all of the lights are off, vegetation is taking over, and New York City and Town Square are basically crumbling. Like, that's the kind of stuff that gets me curious, and that's the kind of stuff I like to see. Something bright be turned dark. Not that I actually like to see New York City, like, basically destroyed. That would actually be awful. But it's that kind of stuff that just makes my mind just go, and it just gets racing. Like, even though Sonic.exe is a bad creepypasta, it is kind of like a guilty pleasure to me for that aspect alone. You put a bright character like Sonic and twist him around, even if it's just like it'll bleed Zodiac the Hell Dog did a better job and that came like years before. But still, the idea of it is what intrigues me. Taking something bright and putting a dark tone over it. Even something basic like your emotions. That's what Silent Hill does so great. Getting your regrets, emotions, and inner demons and turning them into physical manifestations. Pyramid Head from Silent Hill 2, he's nothing more than a physical representation of sexual frustration. Spoiler alert for a game that's been out for like over a freaking decade. And that's why I like some horror products. Freddy Krueger puts a different spin on nightmares and dreams. It's that kind of stuff that I like. Even if it's not done well, I'll still, find it charming in some way. You may think that's crazy, but I just enjoy that kind of stuff. And I think that's why I like horror so much. I like the darker side of things. You could call me edgy, you can call me anything else you want, but it's just what I enjoy. It could be something like the animatronics on Five Nights at Freddy's. It could be any monster from Creepypasta, any slasher from the 80s, any monster from the PS1 horror days. It could be like any of the H.P. Lovecraft creations in the world of H.P. Lovecraft, or Rahil, or whatever. It's that kind of yin and yang that I enjoy. I love this genre. And I want to continue making videos all about it. And whether or not you guys want to stick with me all the way through, that's up to you. But this is what I'm going to do. So with that being said, the hiatus is finally over. We can finally start with the new schedule in Hotel Room 103. I'll see you all guys on Monday. And with that being said, thank you for spending the night at Hotel Room 103.